I'm Millibet, and today I'm bringing you my top tips for beginning on a new Conan server. Whether you're a new player, returning for the update, or you've been here a while, there's a lot of things that are unknown, especially if you're a solo player. There's tips in here for everyone. I hope you enjoy. Journey steps. A super underrated early game mechanic that seems kind of pointless if you've been playing a while, but they give a lot of XP. Making skinning knives, skinning an animal, sundering a creature using a torch, sundering a creature not using a torch, but with a sundering weapon rather, mining bark from a tree, mining a whole iron node, talking to the guy over there, to building your first sandstone palace. These are all really good ways to get you started and get you out of this area. Let's talk daggers. Excellent early game weapon. They thrust, even when over encumbered, moving you great distances. You'll use light attack. You can always flip backwards. When you're over encumbered and you want all those things, move places with speed. If you're playing on official, you want to have your buildings at least 7 pieces to avoid decay timers. Now this next one might seem obvious, but you'd be amazed by how many people I still find, even with tier 3 buildings, who have not locked their boxes. Getting the Tefari bone weapons allows you to make an axe without a blacksmith bench with 16 damage, compared to an iron warbench. You do have to be level 14 to acquire. I'm currently level 15. I'm doing journey steps. But for 19 damage an iron, 30 iron, and a blacksmith bench. Tefari weapons. Now the trick is to get in and touch the weapon without anyone touching you, which can be a little bit tricky, so prepare to die. Have a bedroll out the front. I like to just keep running on my way through the unnamed city.
Come into the light, shy shadow.
Now visiting the unnamed city might seem a bit daunting low level, but there's nothing too scary unless you go inward, and you can outrun most of it, to be honest. But there's a few fragments that you can get without ever setting foot near anything dangerous, and my favorite is right here. If you don't want to get full of stone, you can also use a skinning knife. And that brings us to getting steel and Seppumaru. These boxes are so underrated, in my opinion, for getting going early game. You can get pre-made iron, pre-made steel, thick leather, all sorts of stuff. That's just to name a few. As well as damage relic hunter armor, which is a nice little start when you're running around in a fiber top. And if you find this video helpful, please do like and subscribe. Now you might be familiar with the wine cellar, killing Seth, trying for his truncheon, but are you aware that you can actually knock out these treasure seekers, which have a very large health pool compared to most thralls with this thrall nerf? These two, super easy to get. They're not in a gang. It's not going to aggro the guys down here. Super close if you have a wheel just outside in Set City. You're able to teleport them through the door. You can also teleport with a thrall and a rope through a map room. As long as you don't climb before you touch a Wheel of Pain, the thrall will stay with you. In 3.0, glass flasks are more important than ever with sorcery. If you play on PvP, it's very hard to sacrifice crystal for glass making. So a solid alternative is mining some crystal at either Rhino Horn Ridge or the crevice in the jungle. Check out my separate mining farming efficiency route video. And come to the West Wall prison in Seppumaru and talk to Vanir's Skinflint, who will sell you glass flasks for only a silver coin. 10 glass flasks, 1 silver coin. Don't spend your time grinding out crystal just to burn for glass. Putting an alchemist in an alchemist table will allow you to fill the glass flasks with water for making purified water, and various potions. Sinner's Refuge. A pretty well known place now, but when you're looking for a bit of brimstone on a PvP server and everywhere be blocked and all consumed, this place is a good place. There's a few other caves and spots along the Noob River where you can find other brimstones, but Sinner's Refuge is not just good for the rare harvest. In here you can also find very easy named thralls, specifically the Azura. He is currently a Mitra High Priest, but he can also be a Mitra Name Priest. Killing the Azura people will give you the Azura armor. This guy probably won't because he's just a regular guy. This next tip is a bit of a 2-for-1. Not only can you mine lotuses with a pick and get far more than you can by hand, if you don't happen to have a sickle, pick your flowers. It also works with an axe as well. But what I'm really here to show you is the XP that you get from just harvesting lotuses. This is official standards. I am currently level 19. This trick also works on yellow lotuses. It does not work on aloe. Rather than handpicking your yellow lotuses early game, pick your lotus. The Black Garden is a much better source of XP. If you can get here, the gas shouldn't hurt you too much. As long as you don't start getting more than a stack of 3. There are places where you can stand where the gas goes away as well. Go back in. Creepy door noise. Avoiding all of the monkeys. We've already gained another. That's just an insane amount of XP for picking a flower. And it's the same with Red Lotus. If you're interested in a separate lotus harvesting route for XP, chuck it up in the comments and I'll make a video on that as well. Most efficient way to do a run, where to place your map rooms, etc, etc. Buying thralls at Flotsam. Also an incredibly underrated technique for early game. There is enough gold and silver boxes in the water to be able to buy a starting alchemist, which means you will have the chance of getting anywhere from a tier 2 to a named alchemist from Epimaru. This will enable you to put them in a bench. If it is a named thrall, they can make spices. A tier 3 and up can make oil, and a tier 2 and up can make orbs and fill flasks. This is incredibly handy early game, especially when making armor. You can also buy a mercenary fighter. Same situation, tier 2 to named. Epimaru's stats. You can then use him to go tame you, a relic hunter. Let's have a look and see what we can get. If you're interested in a separate video showing where the gold boxes are in the ocean, just your luck. I have one of those coming out very soon. For 1,000 gold coins, we managed to get 2 named alchemists, a bunch of tier 2s which will help in the cauldrons, a couple of tier 3s, and a few throwaway fighters. And you can keep rinsing and repeating. Having the careful harvest tip and going to the volcano allows you to get a substantial amount of gold compared to before. And that brings us to the lemarian axe. One of the best axes in the game. You can craft it on demand. It has armor pen as well as high damage, naturally, without even a thrall. And you can learn it as soon as you learn Star Metal. Learning lemarian armor from the Palace of the Witch Queen. It's super cheap armor to make and very good stats for what it is. This would have to be up there with one of my top tips that I can recommend. And she's very easy to find.
Bracelet you wear marks you my enemy.
Now this one is more important for PvP, and if you're a PvE player, just disregard. But if you have high FOV, you're able to stand next to a building and see what's inside. I highly recommend always building an airlock layer to prevent snoopy people. This one shouldn't have to be said, but from what I've seen in a lot of bases, tier 3 included, this is another 2 for 1. Please don't build window frames on your outer walls. I can climb up and loot your box. My things. This tip is a little bit of a follow through from building airlock layers. Not only do airlocks help prevent people from getting in quickly and snooping through your wall easily, there's another way to protect your things. Don't have all your crafting benches out in the open. Try to have them walled off with doors in front of them to stop access as soon as someone gets into your crafting room. If you have a wide open crafting room, it's very easy to access all of your benches and surprisingly a lot of unlocked boxes and get in and out and save my bombs and or storm if you happen to be built outside. So please, wall in your crafting rooms. Separate your benches with doors and walls. Give us a little bit of a challenge. And that concludes my top tips for starting out on a new server on Conan. If you found this helpful at all, please like and subscribe and share your comments on what videos you'd like to see next. Until next time, check out these videos.